I sit in my house.
I know.
And just like that, we are live. It is Mary Alice Curran, and I am joining you from Connecticut with the Digital Citizenship Institute. In the month of January, we kicked off this new year looking at this webinar series around digital sportsmanship and looking at ways that we can be really thoughtful and deliberate in making some changes about our words and our actions, both on and offline. And we had 3 unbelievable series in the month of January. And we've been asked to continue that, to continue this celebration where we look at school communities who are really doing extraordinary things around how to use technology for good. So I am so happy. You can see joining me is the Maine-Endwell Central School District. Look at this community all together at 7 p.m. We've got, teachers and faculty members and athletic directors and student athletes joining us to share their story on how they really make a positive impact in their community. And so digital sportsmanship, people are like, well, what is that? And it's about all these traits that we hear coaches talk about, that they want these traits on and off a field. And what we've done with the Digital Citizenship Institute is not only do we want those traits on and off the field or on and off the court, we want those traits online as well. And Rachel Murat, you and I have been on this journey from the get-go, from step 1, this digital citizenship journey. And what you do with your students is really incredible. And I know you've got Jason, your superintendent, that's joining you, and you've got other administrations, but Jason in particular, you've been on this journey from step 1 with us. You have hosted a student-led DigCit Summit. I want to say that was in 2017.
Yep.
And I know that I'm going to end up putting into the chat, you created this documentary back in 2017 called Positively Social. And it is positively awesome because it highlights your community approach on how to use tech for good. Something that we don't just do in the classroom, but what we do at home, at play, and at work. It's that intergenerational, doesn't matter how young or old you are, we all have a responsibility. So today, you're going to be sharing with us the extraordinary ways that your student athletes demonstrate those traits, not just on and off the field, but online. So, Rachel, I'm going to let you take it away to introduce your team. I'm going to go behind the scenes. I know that I'll be behind the scenes celebrating, but I'll also be uploading videos and images when you give me the A-OK to do it. So glad that you have joined us this evening. It is an honor to still be on this journey with you and to celebrate the ways that you use tech for good.
Thank you, Mary Alice. Mr. Van Fossen, our district superintendent, would you like to introduce?
Sure. Yeah, first of all, thank you very much. Very proud to be part of this series. So thank you, Mary Alice. And what I will say from the superintendent's role, we always consider ourselves a great school, as I think everyone does, but great schools start with great kids and great families. And so what's wonderful tonight is to be able to really showcase that our students not only respect technology, they respect the importance of it, they respect the seriousness of it, and they understand what a digital footprint is, but they also promote it and use it to spread kindness and sportsmanship, and are not looking to, embarrass or put down others. So they understand the importance and value of using digital platforms to promote positive kindness and overall success. So again, as a superintendent, and you're going to hear from all of these students, great schools start with great kids, and we really are fortunate to be at home.
Thank you, Mr. Van Fossen. Mr. Horace, can you give us a little bit of your background and about our athletic program expectations?
Yeah, Mary Alice, thanks again for having us on. We got a lot of great student athletes here who are going to be really proud to talk about our district. A little bit about myself. I am a Spartan. I graduated from here in 2007. Extremely proud to be back. A lot of the things that I learned here, I'm trying to bring back and make sure that our student athletes here are getting that same experience that I had when I was here and went through the ranks. A little bit about program expectations that we have here. A lot of these kids are going to share. We lead from the front, and I think that starts at a very young age for them. even from when they first step through the doors in elementary school all the way up to high school. They really know to lead from the front. And just a brief example of that, we were at a conference not even 2 weeks ago, and a lot of Section 4 schools were there. They were broken up into different groups, and when each group had a chance to present, our student athletes were the first to step up and speak to the entire section that was there. And again, we're very proud of them and how they present themselves and how they lead from the front.
Thank you, Mr. Horace. So before we get into our first video, I'd like to have the students introduce themselves. So just say your name and what grade you're in, please.
My name is Nana Follows. I'm a senior at Maine-Endwell High School. My name is Anya Bayat. I'm a senior at Maine-Endwell High School. My name is Liliana Regan. I'm a senior. My name is Sydney Ankoski, and I'm also senior.
My name's Ava Gillen, and I'm a freshman.
My name is Jackie Savage, and I'm a junior.
I'm Adam Sanis, and I'm a senior.
My name is Austin Neisha, and I'm also a senior.
I'm Peniota Anastos, and I'm also a senior.
I'm Natalie Shesna, and I'm a sophomore.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Mary Alice, could you cue up the sportsmanship video, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome you to tonight's Section 4 contest.
We should recognize the purpose of athletics is to promote physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being of individual players and their fans, and that this is a game between high school students, not professionals. We encourage that everyone in attendance display proper ideas of sportsmanship, ethical conduct, and fair play.
Section 4 rules include no alcoholic beverages, noise makers, throwing of objects, or obscene language.
Anyone not abiding by the rules set forth by the section are subject to immediate ejection from the premises.
Your help in following the rules will be greatly appreciated.
If you do your part as a spectator, we are sure that you and the players will have a worthwhile experience.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you, Mary Alice. Adam, why is it important, do you think, to include student athletes in talking about sportsmanship expectations to the community, whether that's in person or online?
I think when the community looks at, the reasons for these sportsmanship talks, they're really looking through the athletes, whether it's parents watching the games, kids that look up to the athletes. They all really seek to find the solution through those athletes that are really setting an example.
Thank you. Liliana, could you talk to us about the impact that good sportsmanship has on the athletes when they're participating in a sporting event?
Yeah, so I feel like sportsmanship really helps build confidence in a player and among teammates and coaches. I think it helps build confidence and respect, especially in coaches, that they can trust their players, and it helps keep a good reputation for the school.
Absolutely. Thank you. Mr. Horace, do you want to add anything in about the difference that you see maybe in districts and how we're?
Yeah, so I mean, this video first stems from Section 4, where we're a part of here at Maine-Endwell, a big push for sportsmanship. I probably don't need to tell anybody that's on this call that, with the shortage of officials, there's been a lot of problems throughout the state, probably across the country, with how fans are treating people in the stands, parents, families. So there's been a big push to try to resolve some of that. And one of the things that this section pushed out was a contest to try to get schools to come up with a video and have kind of a contest and try to make a push to make things better for the section.
Thank you so much. So before Mary Alice tees up our next video about homecoming, homecoming in our community is an event. It is a whole weekend long event that we prepare for. We have a huge parade with floats that we make. All of the sports teams are involved, all the communities involved. It is a whole thing over the weekend, and it is a huge event. And it's just one of the things that really makes our district amazing. So we're going to show you a quick video of that, please, Mary Alice. Thank you, Mary Alice. Austin, could you talk a little bit about the traditions we have at homecoming and the impact and importance of that on our community?
Yeah, so as Mrs. Morat was saying, Maine-Endwell takes the homecoming parade very seriously, and we definitely take pride in it as well. And it all starts with the parade in the morning, which involves a lot of the community members, whether it's varsity sports teams or the youth, the marching band. And I know all 4 of the high school classes work on their own float that goes through the parade. They spend countless hours on that. And then also all the varsity sports team, they're going in the middle school, they're going into elementary schools before that Friday, before the parade, and just pumping up the youth kids, really making them look forward to something.
Awesome. Thank you, Austin. So I'm just going to interject Mr. Juarez really quickly. So Austin brought up a great point about going to the elementary schools and really being role models for the younger kids. But could you talk a little bit about the student part of the student athlete in our district?
Yeah. So again, it goes back to leading from the front, right? So when we have our athletes go up there, they're excited to go. They're excited to be that role model for the kids, and it's really an exciting experience when you get to see their faces when they walk out on the floor. When we're introducing our athletes, it's something that the younger kids really look up to and then want to be a part of, right? So it's that culture that we're building, again, like I said, from a very young age as they're going through school. And it's something that they really want to bleed into and want to be a part of. So yeah.
And I think it wasn't in the fall, every single one of our teams named to the Scholar Athlete or.
Yep. So part of the NISFA program, there's a Scholar Athlete program that run through the state, where at least 75% of your overall roster has to have a 90 or above. And we had 100% of our teams reach that goal this year.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anya, could you talk a little bit about the fan section at home games, especially during homecoming, and how they build up the community?
Yeah, I feel like our fan section sets a great example of how you can still be encouraging the athletes while still being classy. And especially during homecoming games, I think we help the boys play and stay positive when we chant. I also think it sets a great example for the younger classes to see how it's run and how to keep it well contained.
Awesome, thank you so much. And one other thing about Anya is you saw Sparty walking in the parade, and Anya is Sparty. And Sparty also goes with me down to one of our elementary schools to talk to them a little bit about what homecoming is, and then also to talk about our food pantry program, which I'll get into in a minute. So, but shout out to Anya for being Sparty. We appreciate you. All right. Mary Alice, could you tee up the girls basketball video, please? Thank you, Mary Alice. Could you now show the 3 pictures of the girls' basketball team helping to pack the meals? Perfect. So we have a food distribution system through our food pantry in our district. It's called Meals and Leadership. Meals stands for Maine-Endwell Assisting Local Spartans. It's been in place since 2010. And we currently feed 103 of our district families who are living with food insecurity right now. And they get a home delivery each week of a bag of food to help them get through the weekend. And then we do extra bags on long weekends and vacations. And the basketball team, the girls basketball team has been amazing because they have stepped up each year to volunteer to help us pack for one of the longer weekends. So there's more involved in that. So Anna, I was hoping that you could talk to me a little bit about what motivates the basketball team to want to help pack meals each year.
Yeah, so I think what motivates us the most is just giving back to our community and kind of showing that we appreciate what everyone does for us. So giving back to them really helps. And then I also think that we dedicate the day to not having practice. So it kind of gives us a time to bond with each other in certain ways, especially when you need a day off or something to just kind of hang out with your friends while also giving back.
Thank you. Natalie, what does it mean to you as a sophomore? See the upperclassmen setting the example of community involvement.
Well, to me, to just see the upperclassmen setting the example with being involved in the community, it just helps me and any other underclassmen want to get involved, and it shows that it's important to get involved and help your community out.
Thank you. Eva, so why is it important for you to volunteer both at school and in the community?
When you volunteer anywhere, really, it gives the kids someone to look up to and something they want to be in the future, because those are the kids that are going to carry on the Spartan traditions and continue to build that culture in the future. And then they get just so happy when they see you in anywhere because they know that you're what they want to be when they get older. And that's what they want to be, this Spartan that everyone is showing them how to be.
So this is the basketball team that was helped us pack. And I will tell you though, so Meals has been around for the entire time that this group of student athletes has been in our district. And it really has become part of our culture and destigmatized food insecurity, build empathy. It also allows kids to realize that maybe not everybody is similarly situated. And so, it's just an excellent way for them to not only have an understanding that not everybody is similarly situated, but know that they can actually help do something about that. And I think that really is one of the things that sets our district apart. One of the other hats I wear is the Key Club Advisor, and that's a Kiwanis-based volunteer organization where students sign up to volunteer at events all throughout the community and within our school. And we have over 150 students in Key Club who are volunteering on a regular basis. And that, I think, also speaks volumes of the culture in our district of volunteering. We have a football team, helps me out oftentimes with packing. We've had the softball team, we've had the baseball team, we've had the field hockey team. Pretty much every one of our teams has come in and helped pack over the years. And it really does set the tone for the expectation that you're not just an athlete, but you are a part of our community, and it's everyone's responsibility to make that community a better place to be. All right. So Sid, I have a question for you about those promotional videos that we've been showing. So not every school does them, so let alone for their sports teams. What impact do you think that these videos have on you as an athlete and the community?
These videos set like a positive atmosphere and establishes the expectations at Maine-Endwell, and it is a reminder of what our school represents. These videos show the importance of our community and sportsmanship within our athletic programs, and the videos also definitely motivate my team and I before the game. These videos played on our Jumbotron are definitely more than a cool feature.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So I want to talk a little bit more about the leadership in our school and community. Jackie, can you talk to me about why it's important for you as an athlete to show leadership both in school and online?
I feel that's important because it provides like opportunity to be like a role model and like demonstrate like positive behaviors and then like inclusiveness.
Thank you. Adam, I'm going to throw you a little curveball here. So Adam, you are active on social media, and why do you feel like it's important to support your fellow athletes who may have been competing for something that's very similar to what you were competing for? Or why do you feel like it's important that all of the teams get support from the other sports?
I think it goes both ways, whether it's me doing it or someone doing the same for me. I mean, it's really just what our community is. Like, we're really tight knit. We support each other, and we really strive for everyone to have the same opportunities and be gifted with the same, end result that we are.
Yep, and we want to make sure that everybody feels boosted up, right?
Yes,
All right, thank you. So, Mary Alice, could you show us the Spartan picture, please? Thank you so much. So Paniota, can you tell us a little bit about the day, what it meant to the school community, how you guys set it up, all that stuff?
Yeah, so it took a lot of preparation and time, I think, put into it with certain like fan section leaders within each grade and certain people setting up certain things. It was definitely a sense of pride for our community and brought this district together, and giving an opportunity for all students to be in the gym together and build the culture of what Maine-Endwell is like, and how no matter what, we're supporting each other. And it also, we gave it got a chance to watch the unified play as well when they played during halftime, because obviously it was a bit surrounded by a basketball game, but we have more than one basketball team and program within our school. And that's obviously boys and girls, but also unified in how important they are to us, and make the day just about them as it was for us. And also giving an opportunity by the end of the day to support the kids in music that wanted to during our winter assembly, that wanted to present and show off their talents, because it wasn't just about athletics that day. It was about everyone and bringing our school together and community.
Yep, and it was the day before winter break, so it's not usually a day full of high energy. It might be a day full of sugar, but it's not. And that day it was just unbelievable. The energy in the gymnasium, the community building that we had, the videos, the DJ. I mean, it was just such an amazing day. Sid?
I just wanted to add on that because I know that Vestal is actually planning on doing this next year. I think it's great that people are looking at our school and wanting to do the same for their district, and I think that we made an impact on the whole area, honestly.
Absolutely. So it was the first section for basketball game at 8 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, every state is part of that. Oh, yeah.
So Mr. Worth, could you talk a little bit about what unified basketball is, just in case somebody that's listening doesn't know what that is?
Sure. So, I mean, it's a team that includes everybody. At Maine-Endwell, you're going to hear a lot. All means all, providing that experience to each student, right? So that's bringing in, basketball players of all abilities, as well as some of our, athletes that are in our regular programs. But really providing that experience to everybody is what's really important to us.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Just to be able to cheer them on and have a great time is awesome. Thank you. So I'm going to ask you guys about what are some ways that you can show leadership online when you are wearing, you have a Spartan sweatshirt on or Spartan t-shirt on, but that doesn't necessarily, mean that you do that online, but I know that you all do. So can you talk a little bit about that? I'd like maybe 3 or 4 of you to give me a way that you can show leadership online, Spartan spirit online.
I think one way is definitely just providing not only support for our Maine-Endwell athletics, but also support for other athletics. Especially when circumstances happen, tragedies that happen during different seasons. I mean, when the Waverly basketball player passed away, I think that really helped us realize some things that can happen just going on. So the girls basketball team promoting on either our Spartan 300 or different basketball accounts. I think promoting different leadership ways like that can really help the community.
Thank you for bringing up Spartan 300. That is a student-led Twitter account that gives shout outs to our athletes, but it also is it's a white out at the game. It's wear blue at the game, and so it's promoting all of the different fields, not just maybe ones that would typically get your attention. All right, who else wants to talk?
I also think it shows wearing Maine-Endwell stuff and wearing it with pride online and stuff like that. It shows your pride for your school, and that no matter what, you're wearing that Spartan, that represents who you are and the district we're coming from, whether you're graduated or whatever, you're not even whatever, but you're always supporting Maine-Endwell and representing what you've known and what you're coming from.
Awesome. Thank you. So one of the other things that we do is we have this series called 4 Questions, and that's something that is put out through our media people that work for the district, and that covers music, arts, the clubs, the sports, you know, students in different types of programs. So I think that's another great way that we're able to highlight all of the different programs that we have to use tech for good, because not only is it going to highlight, like, for example, our middle school esports team has been extremely successful this year. It's a way to highlight them. It's a way to highlight, you know, a sax quartet, or, you know, the strings section, or, you know, the student workers that we have who are working with the athletic department to put together those videos, or helping out in the classroom, things like that. So I think that's another way that we use tech for good. So I want to talk about our A2A. All right, and I don't know who wants to talk about A2A, but who wants to talk about A2A? Okay. So, you know, whoever it is, can you explain what Athletes to Athletes is?
Yeah, so Athletes to Athletes is a district-wide basketball game played by the teachers. So it's K through 8 and the high school staff. And we try to get as much of like the community involved, like families, younger kids, and the band and face art club, and all like within clubs within our school to come for this day and raise money for athletes, youth athletes in our district, and or like another cause that we choose to raise the money for.
Yeah, we had a very successful event last year.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to be at. And I will tell you that when you go to these events, I mean, I go there as a teacher per se, but I just love to be around the kids and, you know, be part of these events. And it's just amazing to watch the way that the younger kids really do look up to the older athletes. And I think they see you and they're like, that's what I want to be when I grow up. And I know that you guys were the same way when you were, you know, younger. Anybody else want to talk about A2A or being online? Yes, no? Okay. Mr. Van Fossen, do you want to talk a little bit about why events like A2A or Spartanpalooza or Unified Basketball are important to our district?
Well, I think it's been said. I mean, it gives everybody in the school community an opportunity to participate and to enjoy the event. So if you're not a basketball player, but you enjoy watching, you know, teachers run around and compete, or you enjoy watching students with disabilities compete and the enjoyment they get, it's for everyone. And so you can't underestimate the importance of inclusiveness of everybody. And so, you know, it's not just athletes, they're student athletes, but they're also, these are our ambassadors. And so when Peniota mentioned wearing blue and gold, you represent not only your school, you represent your community, you represent your family, you represent everyone that is part of this organization. And so that's why I say we are so fortunate to have kids that truly understand what that means, because there are kids, we want them to do well. We also want them to represent us when we're not watching, or when, you know, they're on a different stage. So these events not only highlight what our kids are doing, they highlight the character that our kids have, both on the court and off. And it's just, these are tremendous opportunities for us to really celebrate that.
All right, so our last question is going to be, if you met someone for the first time and they asked you to tell them about our district, what's something that you would want to make sure that you tell them? So I'll start off and I'll say, when, you know, people ask me about that, the first thing I always say is I bleed blue and gold. This district, I won the lottery when I was offered a position here 28 years ago. I can't imagine working anywhere else. The kids in this district make me proud every single day. And I just so much enjoy coming to work and spending time with the kids and hearing what they have going on in their lives and just connecting with them. So I just feel like we have such an awesome sense of community here. Who would like to be the next person?
I would also say, I would want others to know that everyone can get involved. There's something for everyone to do. It's not just tailored to one specific group of people. There's stuff for everyone, and then everyone gets showcased. And it's so exciting to get to see all these different people get excited in what they're passionate about.
Adam?
I was going to say that, like, no matter what's going on in your life, whether it's a crest or a trough, there's always someone by your side to experience that with. The community's right there no matter what's going on, whether it's the best day of your life or the worst day ever. You always have someone right there to rely on and put a shoulder on.
To go along with Adam, I'd say one word to describe like this school is family, because no matter what, like at the end of the day, everyone will be there for you, no matter who you are, how you grew up, or what you're involved in. Like this district, everybody's by your side and everyone wants to watch you succeed and see you succeed.
And just to piggyback off what the two of you were saying, we had 3 families facing the loss of their homes to a fire within about 4 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. And online, the amount of support, both emotionally, financially, just knowing that we're there for them, have coalesced around them. And I think that's another way that we were able to use Tech for Good, was really to bring the community together. How can we fix this? And what do you need? And what do you need? And what do you need? And it was just unbelievable to watch what happened to help those families. Who else would like to talk about certain things?
I will say that when you go to like the elementary school or any of the districts or schools in our district, you like talk to a kid in the elementary school and they are one of the most respectful kids you think you'll ever you talk to before. And like I think that all of like the values and the morals that come with our school district create successful adults and prepare you for the rest of your life.
You said. Who else would like to talk to me about that? Austin?
Yeah, I'll talk about sports-wise. Definitely Maine-Endwell is the most classiest team around. I mean, we play with sportsmanship, and it definitely gives us a good reputation, not only for yourself, but as for a team. And also leading by example. A lot of the youth kids are at all the games, and you always want to lead by example for them so they grow up playing the game the same way the varsity kids play.
And a couple things is, you mentioned the youth sports and bringing them in is we always have youth night at all the different sports. And so that the little kids have the ability to, interact and play and watch, the older kids play. But then also you talked about sportsmanship, and that really reminded me, we win sportsmanship awards, it seems like, all the time. Can you talk a little bit about, what is the process for a team or a person to win that at some of those big tournaments, like even at state championship games, things like that?
Yeah, so I mean, to win that, it's based off of a coach's vote. So whether they're at a tournament, coaches get together after that tournament and they'll take a vote. So really, it's how our student athletes perform and how they act during the games, after the games, when they're not playing. A lot of it goes to show that, we're doing the right things on and off the field or court, which gets them that recognition.
Absolutely. And I always go to a lot of the different sporting events, and it's always reassuring but awesome to see when our student athletes are put in a position where the right thing to do is the hard thing to do, but they do the right thing. And, they walk away from a confrontation, or they help a player up off the, turf or the court that just, took a hit. And it's just awesome that they are showing sportsmanship when maybe that's the hard thing to do, right?
I also know that in 6th grade, you take a class on digital leadership, and I was also fortunate enough to take your digital leadership class on my sophomore year. And although that's not a course anymore, I think that it is a big part of curriculum no matter what. And I think that it's talked about often, what you should and what you should not post online. And even if it's not mentioning social media, it's the core value of being respectful and a good person.
Right, because you never want that. I think that's stuff that you posted to come back, right? Especially if an employer looks up online before they even get to meet you, right? You want your first impression to be a good one. Who else would like to talk about what they would say to someone they just met?
So I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to work with some of the youth players this fall. And it was so exciting to me when they came back and came and supported us as the older kids, because you made an impact on their lives and they want to come back and support you and be like you in the future.
Absolutely. Oftentimes when I take Sparty down to our elementary school, the kids see me and they're like, Sparty's mom is here. Because they're so used to seeing me with Sparty. And so I think it's really important that, we're making that connection with our elementary schools. Mary Alice, do you want to talk a little bit about that student that you had that asked for a letter of recommendation? Oh, Mary Alice, we can't hear you.
I was behind the scenes, and I have to tell you, I was so proud while I was just like queuing things up for you. But to listen to this whole room, and this like true community approach. I mean, you are an exemplar. Like Maine-Endwell is like leading the way for inviting not just this community outreach, but inviting the community to be like side by side with you in these, in these moments. And this is a critical conversation. And just to kind of touch upon what Mrs. Murat was talking about early on in my career, which began with Mrs. Murat, there was this student. He was a high school student, and he talked about that somebody came in to do an assembly to talk about like school, like climate, the culture at school. And he said things changed for like a day or so, but then they went right back to how they always were. So he thought, as one person, what can I do to make a difference? So he created an anonymous Twitter account to give, sincere compliments. And what he realized was, I don't know everybody in the school. So he went and he said, oh, Rachel, you're on the debate team. I don't know anybody out on the debate team. Will you join me? It's like this example of how one person's words and actions, like one becomes many. And then he just continued to say and get more people to be anonymous, to say really wonderful things. He ended up being on the news. That's how I found out about him. And I was a faculty member teaching teachers at both the undergraduate and graduate level. And I thought, wow, these teachers need to learn, need to hear this student, right? And if I was even to say right now, like, you are a 3-credit course right here. Like, future teachers need to be learning, with you and from you. But I would have him join my classes and share his story. And to make a long story short, while he was a senior, he asked me, I've never met him, right? Like, he's geographically in a totally different area. Our paths have never literally crossed, but he asked me to write him a letter of recommendation. So I know that there are a lot of, seniors in that room. When you ask somebody to write a letter, who do you generally ask, right? Do you ask someone you've never met in person?
Probably not.
Not typically.
Right, not typically, but you can, because I'll tell you, he asked me if I'd write a letter, and it was for a financial scholarship. And so I waxed on eloquently in this letter, and I admitted that I could be in a crowded room and walk right by him because I've never been in the same place at the same time, but that I could speak about his character. And this ties in perfectly with digital sportsmanship. I could speak about his character because of his words and his actions on what he was doing online. And I'll tell you, this was probably back in 2013, 2014. The organization wrote back to me to let me know, thank you for your honesty. And we just want you to know we understand this is probably going to be the first of many, but he received that financial scholarship. So I want to share this with you because your words and your actions, whether you think somebody's watching you or not, really matter. And I was just so proud listening to you tell this incredible story about your school community that Mrs. Murat knows this. I always talk about skipping stones. Not that I'm very good at it, but that idea of skipping stones, and it's got that ripple effect. What you are doing for your community not only is making an impact in your school, but in your neighborhoods, in your state, but it's got that ripple effect. And your willingness to share your story with us online just continues to inspire and empower others to say, I want to do something similar to that. So from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you enough for being on this, that I get to be lucky enough to be on this journey and to celebrate the wonderful ways that your community uses tech for good at school, at home, at play, and at work. This has been a really fantastic conversation.
Well, thank you, Mary Alice. And I just want to give a shout out to every single one of you in this room because some of them just came from practice. Some of them had to go to practice. They all had homework tonight. It's a Thursday night. It's 7:40 at night. And yet they all showed up. And that really speaks volumes of our school community and of our students. And I just want to say thank you all for being in my life because every single one of you is an amazing soul. And you were talking about opportunity, right? And I say to the kids all the time that you are auditioning for a future opportunity that you know nothing about. And using Tech for Good is one of the ways that you can open up opportunities for yourself that you don't even know are going to be around the corner. But they're there because your character showed up online in a good way. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you
Mary
for
Alice.
having us, Mrs. Morat.
Oh,
Yeah,
I said, thank you for having us.
yes. And, you know, not to put anybody on the spot, but in April, we're putting on a global student showcase and we are filling our dates. And I can't think of a better opportunity than to hear some other stories, whether it's this story or a different story. Because we just love to, what we do at the Digital Citizenship Institute is we like to partner with school communities. We like to celebrate and put like the brightest light to shine so that we continue to inspire and empower other communities to pick up that mantle, you know, and do similar things. So I will be in touch, Mrs. Morat, about April. And if any of those students would like to join us, it would be during the school day. So maybe it happens like in a class. I don't know what it might look like, but
Sign me up.
yes.
You know, during calculus class.
So wonderful. So thank you so much. And Mrs. Morat, as I always end, it's sign language. I miss you already. You were
Already.
wonderful. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.